In the last lecture, we added the code to get some data. Of course, that is a huge first step, but it would be even more useful if we could write that data to the screen, if we could render it to the screen and replace this array of dummy posts here with a dynamically generated array based on the posts we fetched. For this, we need to manage some state, of course, and we should have some posts in that state. Initially, this can be an empty array. Now, I want to update this state once we fetch data from the server, and therefore the place to call this setState is inside the then method. If we would call it outside of this, so after this Axios get method, we wouldn't have the posts yet because of the thing I mentioned earlier. The code, JavaScript, doesn't wait for this to finish. So if immediately calling this setState after the get method, the data won't have been fetched yet. So inside the then block is the right place. And there we can set posts to response data. You just saw in the console that the data property is available on that response object and that the data property holds an array of posts. So I'll comment out the response logging and instead set my state to the posts. Now let's output posts dynamically in the render method. For that, I'll create a new constant here, posts, and that should be an array of JSX elements. So I will use this state posts, the state we just updated it with the server data, and there, as you learned it, call the map method to map it into an array of JSX elements. And the map method, of course, returns a new array, which I store in that posts constant. Now in the map method here, I get my individual post as an input in that function we're passing to the map method. And there I want to return a JSX element. I want to return my single post here, like this. Down there, I then of course want to output this array of posts, which is stored in that posts constant. Now this post should of course at least output the title. If we inspect the post component, we see I output title here. So therefore, here I probably want to get some props, maybe a props with the name title. So I should pass this title property to the single post. So in the block container, I need to set a title property here and pass post.title. The title property on this post element is available because of the data we fetched from the server. Just to reassure you, you already got spoiled that it worked, but the data we get back from the server is this array, and each element here has a title property. So as you can clearly see, it already works here. Styling is a bit off. We also output all the posts, which might be too much, and we haven't set the key prop. So let's fix these three things. Let's set the key prop, and as you can verify by checking out the data we get back from the server, you'll see that there also is an ID property on each post. That of course makes up for a perfect key because it's unique. Now regarding the styling and the amount of posts. For the styling, let's go to the post component and change the width to maybe 250 pixels. Now they have a little bit more room for the title. Still, there are too many posts, and that is something I'll take care about in the next lecture when I show you how to transform the data you get back.